On a gloomy winter day in 2025, a jewelry store in Los Angeles was unusually quiet. 72-year-old Ruth Carter walked in with trembling hands and held out an old ring. "Please buy this," she said softly. The jeweler looked at it and replied coldly, "It's worthless." "My grandkids are hungry. Please," Ruth begged, her eyes welling up with tears. At that moment, the door swung open. Elon Musk stepped inside. He overheard Ruth's words and stopped in his tracks. "How much do you want for it?" he asked, calm but firm. Ruth lowered her head. $50 would be enough. Without hesitation, Elon pulled out his wallet and handed her a crisp $1,000 bill. "Here, this is for you." Ruth looked at him, stunned. Who are you?" "Just someone," Elon replied with a small smile, handing her a card. "Call me." Ruth took the card, unsure of what to think or do. As Elon walked out, the jeweler whispered under his breath, "That was Elon Musk." Ruth stood there frozen, clutching the card and the money. Her moment of desperation had just collided with an unexpected act of kindness. That small, almost forgotten ring had just sparked something far bigger than she could imagine. Was this encounter just a chance moment, or the beginning of something that could change Ruth's life forever? The next morning, Ruth sat at her kitchen table, nervously turning Elon's card over in her hands. After a deep breath, she dialed the number. Elon answered. "Ruth, how are you?" I'm okay. Thank you," she replied, still in disbelief. "Mind if I come by your place?" he asked. A few hours later, Elon was sitting in Ruth's tiny living room. Her grandkids peeked out from behind a doorway, eyes wide with curiosity. "Who is he, Grandma?" one of them whispered. Elon smiled and pulled up a chair. "I'm someone who wants to help." Ruth looked at him, still unsure. "Why are you helping me?" "Because you're a mother," he said with a warm smile. "And I respect that." Then he leaned forward. "How would you like to work at Tesla?" Ruth blinked. "I'm too old. What could I even do?" Elon grinned. "Start with what you're already great at, your cooking." He explained his idea. "Make meals for our factory team. Real, home-cooked food." Ruth's eyes lit up. "I used to cook for my whole family. Every day." "Then you'll fit right in," Elon said, handing her an address. "Start tomorrow." As he stood to leave, the house felt different. Not fancy, not rich, but full of something it hadn't had in a long time. Hope. Could this offer be the turning point Ruth had been waiting for? When Ruth stepped into the Tesla factory for the first time, she was overwhelmed. Elon greeted her at the entrance. "Welcome, Ruth." He led her to the kitchen, a big, modern, buzzing space. "What exactly am I supposed to do?" she asked. "Feed the team," Elon replied with a smile. That day, Ruth got to work. She made homemade soup and fresh bread, just like she used to for her family. The employees couldn't get enough. "This is amazing," they said as their plates were wiped clean. Elon took a bowl himself. "Ruth, this is something special." Ruth blushed. "I just made what I know," she said with a humble smile. The next day, the team came back wanting more. That's when Elon pulled her aside. "I have an idea," he said. "What if we grow this?" "Grow it how?" Ruth asked, curious. "A meal program for families," Elon replied. "Families? Like my grandkids?" Ruth's eyes lit up. Exactly. And I want to do it with you. Inspired, Ruth started sketching out a plan. Homemade meals delivered to families using Tesla vehicles. Their first delivery? A hot bowl of soup to a small home across town. The kids opened the door and shouted, "Thank you!" Ruth's face lit up brighter than ever. In that moment, she wasn't just cooking anymore. She was changing lives. Could this role be the second chance she never saw coming? A few weeks later, Ruth's program had a name: Ruth's Table. Tesla vehicles were delivering meals to neighborhoods all over the city. "Ruth, this is incredible," Elon said during a visit. Ruth smiled proudly. "The families are happy. That's what matters." In the first month, they fed 50 families. Then the media caught wind of it. Headline: Elon's grandma is saving lives. But with the attention came a new challenge. Demand was growing fast, and resources were running low. Ruth, always practical, made a suggestion. "Let's bring on more volunteers." Elon nodded. "Smart move." Soon, the team grew bigger. One day, Ruth was in the kitchen working side by side with her grandkids. They giggled and said, "Grandma, you're famous now." Elon dropped by later that afternoon. "Ruth, I have one more idea." "What is it?" she asked, wiping flour from her hands. "A donation fund," he said. "For the families?" she asked, eyes lighting up. "Yes," Elon nodded. "In your name." The fund launched and donations poured in. Within weeks, they were helping hundreds of families. Ruth's cooking had turned into something much bigger, a movement. Was this just a charity project, or the beginning of a full-blown revolution? At Tesla's annual event, Elon stepped onto the stage and called someone very special up. "This woman has touched me, and the world," he said. Ruth walked up slowly, smiling shyly. The crowd erupted in applause. On the big screen behind them, images of Ruth's table appeared. Tesla vehicles delivering meals, happy families, grateful kids. Elon turned to the crowd. "Ruth once tried to sell her ring to feed her grandkids. Today, she's feeding thousands." Gasps. Then more applause. Ruth took the microphone, her hands trembling. "Elon gave me a chance. I just followed my heart." The room filled with emotion. People were wiping their eyes. Then Elon revealed the new Tesla meal delivery fleet, sleek vehicles designed to carry Ruth's meals across the city. The media headlines rolled in, the triumph of Elon and Ruth. But the real surprise came next. Elon handed Ruth a small velvet box. She opened it and gasped. Inside was her ring, the very one she tried to sell. Tears welled in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. Elon smiled. "So, what's next?" Ruth wiped her tears, looked up, and smiled. "More families," she said simply. The crowd cheered. In that moment, Ruth wasn't just a grandmother. She was a hero. Was this event just a celebration, or the start of something even bigger? 1 year later, Ruth's table had reached thousands of families. Tesla vehicles delivered meals every day, and Ruth's foundation had raised millions. Elon smiled during an interview. "If it weren't for Ruth, none of this would have happened," he said. Back at home, Ruth was greeted by her grandkids. "Grandma, you're a superhero!" they shouted, hugging her tightly. One afternoon, she went around her old neighborhood, personally handing out meals. "Everyone deserves to eat," she said with a warm smile. The media headlines read, "The Grandma Revolution." But Ruth just chuckled. "I'm just Ruth," she said softly. Elon surprised her again, this time with a brand new Tesla. "This is your mobile kitchen now," he said. Ruth laughed. "Guess dinner just got faster." Her old ring had become a symbol of sacrifice, love, and unexpected hope. In a press conference, Elon said, "People like Ruth are the ones who truly change the world." So what do you think? Was it all just a coincidence or destiny? How did a single ring end up feeding millions?
If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Subscribe for more inspiring stories.